So, DJ Focus is the exception to the rule. Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, not too long ago, about a year ago, I had a debate with a gentleman by the name of DJ Focus. Don't know who he is. I've never heard of him before, but I actually was contacted by a gentleman named Amias Ron. We had a debate, based off of my views, and he brought me back to have a debate with his friend, the guy he knows by DJ Focus. Now, this Focus is basically a typical one of these pro-blacks who always crying about racism, who repeats all of the nonsense that he's heard from all of the race hustlers. All the typical race hustler nonsense, crying about the past, constantly living in the past, and try to make the past relevant to the day. Always crying about end results, finding every which way under the sun to be a victim. Now, in that debate, I asked Focus, because every time I deal with these idiots, the first thing I'm going to ask them is to tell me how they're being oppressed. Tell me how you're being oppressed. I don't want to hear about no we, us, or with other black people. How is the system stopping you? Of course, he deflected and dodged. Kept saying that he doesn't deal in basically individual anecdotal arguments, which is actually doesn't make any sense, because if we live in a country where there's supposedly a system holding us down, every black person should have their own unique individual story of being held back in his system. He deflected. I finally it took almost 8 minutes, to get him to answer, to say that he's not being oppressed because he's a product of the decisions that he made. But he tried to put in a qualifier to try about black people in that video.
I'm not going to blame anybody. Listen, sir, I was too affected, product of my environment. Okay, I too grew up. My father was a great father. He taught me well, but I also had the streets pulling at me, if you will. Okay, my block, different ones on me, peer pressure, the music that I was listening to, gangster rap, all of these, the media, the images that permeated my mind as a young black man growing up, that is prepared by masses of the people. And guess what? I perpetuated to the masses of the people, and that did disproportionately affect me. I grew up in a good home. I still went out and sold drugs. I still went out, ran around with guns. I still went out and did all of that stuff. I did all that bullshit. But I got to a point where the lessons that my father taught me ended up predominating, and then I was able to go out and succeed. I was able to go to college. I was able to get my own business, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm doing good now. I got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, nice big house, and I'm doing good. But that does not mean that I was not affected by the state of my environment. I was affected by the state of my environment. I'm just one of the lucky ones who had enough of a good upbringing, enough of a good father, and enough of moral compass that I chose a better path, and it worked for me. All praises due to Allah, it worked out for me. But I understand that I'm the exception to the rule and not the rule. Everybody doesn't come from where I come from. Everybody didn't have a father that I had. Everybody did not have the opportunities that I had. We just didn't, okay? So as a result, I'm not now going to affect the next man and say, I think you could have did it. I'm not going to have that. I'm going to analyze his particular situation, and I'm going to, with sympathy and empathy, deduce why he's in the position that he's in, how he got there, how much culpability he holds, if he could change it, in the rest, etc., etc. But none of these individuals...
He still made the free will decision that put him where he is, though.
Yeah.
So he pulled the all people don't make it out card. This idea that, well, yes, he made it out, but that doesn't mean everybody else does. To that question, I would have to ask him. And again, we were in a debate, so and you have to go sometime with the floor of the debate. But then I would have to ask him this, you telling me that you have the free will decision to make your choices in life, but other black people don't. So what are those black people being prevented from doing, achieving? Same thing with you. So you telling me that if there's any other black person in America could make the same free will decision that he made to leave the streets alone and to go to school and to get a degree, other black people can't make that free will decision? Yes, they can. Absolutely. So there is no such thing as, quote unquote, nobody being left behind. Nobody didn't make it out. Okay, what decisions that they make to keep them in is the question. So, like I said, that's a stupid argument in of itself. And and since he flat out admitted that he's not being oppressed, then I'm gonna need him to sit his ass down and let every other black person come to the front of the congregation and tell us the story of being oppressed. All these black victims who claim that there's America's racist, all this systemic racism. You come to the front of the congregation and tell us how the system is stopping you. Let everybody come forward and tell their own story. If every black person give their own account of this oppression, then there's nothing anecdotal about that, of everybody speaking and saying that how they're being oppressed. The truth of the matter is, like I said, they can't. There's no black person in America who's being individually held back from doing achieving anything. They know they can't say they're being oppressed in their individual lives. This is why, as I said, they need the collective. They need to be oppressed as a collective, because every black person, every black victim needs to lead on somebody else's oppression and victimhood, because they know they can't talk about their own. So another failed argument by DJ Focus. I would ask him the same. How is he being held back? And if he can't tell me how he's being held back, then tell me how other black people are being held back. It is absolutely impossible for all of us to be held back as a whole, as a group, as a collective, but nobody feels it in the individual life. That's absolutely impossible. Anyway, y'all, that's my 2 cents on this. Nobody's being oppressed in America. And as always, y'all, until next time.